I'm a third generation worker at this facility. My father is a former union officer here for a number of years, held several different offices in the union. So growing up, it was a union job. It was a job down here at this factory that put a shirt on my back and a roof over my head. My grandfather, both of my grandfathers and my great-grandfathers worked down here. This facility has been around over 100 years, and hopefully it'll be around even longer than that, I hope, because it's been a great benefit to this community in a lot of different ways.
We've talked about other industry in this area, and basically what has happened to some of the other industry?
Beginning in the 1980s, and we all know the politics behind that, we started losing a lot of local factories. We had several in the Asheville area in the 80s that shut down. We had a place called Asheville Industries that was a contractor for the Navy. They shut down. In the 90s, we had Gerber plant, and when it shut down, it also caused the closing of another plant called Ball Industry, which made the baby food jars. So it had a ripple effect when that place shut down. And in 1999, there was another steelworker facility here in Haywood County called Dayco for Dayton Tire and Rubber Company, and they made fan belts and hoses for the automotive industry, and they shut down due to NAFTA.
And through all this, I mean, what did these people that worked at those plants, did they have to leave the area to find other work, or what did it do to the community?
The thing that is so devastating, and in many ways, because of the close proximity with us to Dayco, it's just 10 minutes down the road. It was almost like they were a sister facility in a lot of ways. We knew a lot of those guys, and one of the people I knew was my neighbor, and he was, I think, 55 when the facility closed down, which is a terrible age to be when something like that happens. If you're in your 30s or 40s, maybe you can recover, but when you're getting close to retirement age, it's much harder for you to get back on your feet, especially at a time when most people at that age are trying to put as much away for their retirement as possible. This friend of mine, he ended up mowing yards, and that was what he did until he reached retirement age.
Now, you know what's going on as far as the dumping of paper into the U.S. by China and Indonesia. If that was to happen to the market that your mill is in, and you had to take extended downtimes, or worst case scenario that the mill had to shut down, what would happen to this beautiful town of Canton, North Carolina?
Well, we've faced tough times before. Last year, because of the economy, we had some short-term layoffs. But we've been fortunate in that the product that we make, which is primarily orange juice cartons, that's a staple, and we've been able to dodge that bullet. But one of the things that I believe is, I guess it was a couple of years ago when they completed the Three Rivers Dam project in China, I knew that could be a threat to the manufacturing base in this country. I read in Steelworkers magazine that they had built something like maybe 100 paper mills in China in the last 10 years. The thing that I would remind anyone who's involved in government, what you need to look at on that is are they following the same environmental regulations that we're following here? I don't think so. You look at the human rights abuses that are involved over there. I mean, we should have never granted them most favorable nation status. And when you look at that and you look at what could happen to a town like this mill provides 35% of the tax base for our town. And you've not got just the 1,200 workers here. You've got truck drivers that haul wood chips in and out of here. You've got people from chemical companies that rely on this place just as much as I do for a living. And you've got other vendors and things like that rely rely on this place. So the ripple effect would be thousands of jobs. If I'm not mistaken, we are the largest manufacturing facility west of Charlotte. At one time, we were the largest employer, period, west of Charlotte. So it would be a very devastating effect. And the last thing I'd say on that, one of the unique things about this facility is we provide free all of the sewer treatment for the town. And if we shut down, just at the same time that this town would be facing all these job losses, they would also probably have to increase taxes or something to build a new sewage treatment facility. It'd be devastating.
And on a more personal level, if something was to happen to your job at the mill through economic downturn or through imports, what would you personally be looking at having to do to survive?
Well, you would have 1,200 people with basically the same set of job skills looking for 1,200 jobs that don't exist. So what you would see, and that's one of the unique things about this town, is it's almost like we're all family. You know, generation after generation has worked here. We've got roots here. My family has lived in this area 250 years. And if this facility shut down, people would have no other recourse but to move away. There would not be enough jobs. Certainly not enough jobs that pay what this job pays, and it would tear the community apart.
Now, Jeff, again, you were telling me before about what has happened to your wife's position in municipal government. Can you relay that to me again?
Yeah, because of the economic downturn that we've had in this country, and I think we can thank the guys on Wall Street for most of that, but the way that's trickled down, as you know, all of the states have been strapped for cash. North Carolina is no different, and the governor announced that there would be certain job cuts, that each county would have to cut so many jobs, and in Haywood County, where we're at now, the cut was 35 jobs, and my wife was one of them. She worked for local social services. And she's tried very hard for the last year to get a job, and it's just tough out there.
At a time where you look at the possibility of more job loss in the area, that's probably when social services are needed the most.
Absolutely.
Jeff, in closing up, I want to ask you just one simple question. If you had the ability to talk to the powers to be on this issue of the dumping of paper and how they're not abiding by the rules and laws that we have in place already, how are we going to be able to save manufacturing if we don't take a stand and do something?
What I would say is, first of all, we are not asking for any special treatment. What we are asking for is a level playing field. I have absolute faith in the American worker that if we are just given an equal shot, we can outwork and we can produce better quality than anybody in the world. But the way that we have currency manipulation, dumping on the market, how can we compete against something like that? And another thing that I would say about manufacturing is, how can you have a middle class in this country if you don't have jobs that pay middle class wages? It's that simple. When you talk about manufacturing jobs leaving this country, you're talking about the middle class leaving this country. All you've got to do is draw a graph that shows all of the job losses we've seen in manufacturing, and it will tack right along with the erosion of the middle class in this country. It's a no-brainer. We've got to keep manufacturing in this country. That's one of the things that I'm proud about the steel workers. They've realized this years ago. In 2006, we started what we call the Blue-Green Alliance with the Sierra Club, and we need some help in Washington. When you look at the countries that have had success in creating green jobs, it's because there's been a partnership between the government and entrepreneurs and workers, and that's our last chance to really revive